This NFL Week 1 DFS Picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted parlays to in-game odds on every major sport, WynnBET has what you need to win big. Sign up today to receive a $500 risk-free sports bet. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit and receive up to $500 in bonus cash. That's PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by Pickswise. Pickswise is the #1 home of free sports betting picks. Visit Pickswise.com to make your next bet better. We're also brought to you by OddsCrowd. Are you the best football bettor in the United States? OddsCrowd challenges you to prove it with their free-to-play fantasy betting contest. Over $30,000 up for grabs over the season. Go to oddscrowd.com to sign up. And of course, don't forget to download the SGPN app. SGPN is giving you a chance to win $100,000 NFL Week 1 exclusively on the SGPN app. Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking that money green with my partner at picks, right? Real money, Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Football.
Let's go, baby.
It is no longer the off season, Sean. It is the in season. We are officially
here
in Labor Day. I know some people are probably on the beach, maybe barbecuing.
Yep.
Not
wasting their lives,
grinding
not drafting,
away.
grinding these DFS picks. We got we got so much. We got a prize picks lineup we're going to give out at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Doing all right in the college so far, and we also, of course, going to be giving out some DFS lineups. Oh man, there's so much to get to. Of course, download the app, get in that free $100,000 entry for your chance to win $100,000. SGPN app, NFL Week 1. The contest locks right around kickoff of opening night, so you want to make sure you get that in. Oh, and you hear those horns blaring. It of course means it's time for the National Football League. Oh, if you're not betting on Win, I don't know what you're doing. All you got to do, head over to wynnbet.com. Get that $500 risk-free sports bet. Get access to in-game wagering, props, parlay boosts. Are you kidding me? Some of the best odds around. And again, they're part of Team SGPN.
Yep.
Sponsoring the entire network. So shout out to WynnBET. And you want to check out WynnBET if you want a WINBIG with Win. Oh, and we're going to be broadcasting live from the Win in Las Vegas. Can't make it out to Las Vegas. Don't worry. Las Vegas comes to you in the form of the Win betting app. Get in there, download it now. Get in on the action. Oh man, WynnBET. I'm so jacked, Ryan. I feel like I'm peaking. Joining us on the line, the fantasy football editor at SGPN and the Don of Bills Mafia, Adam Pelletier. Adam, is it true that someone in your home league drafted Josh Allen #1 overall? That is insane.
It was the most insane thing that happened that night. And this is a league where Justin Tucker has gone in the 5th round before. So shit usually gets really weird. And Josh Allen goes 1. I immediately pause the draft and call the guy, making sure he's all right, making sure he's not like having a stroke, making sure he wasn't trying to add him to the queue, because I love him. But he can be simplistic sometimes, and he struggles with the technology occasionally. He meant to do it. He was there. And the only logic we can come up with is either he is sneakily good and knows what he's doing because he was keeping Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd round at 214. So he said, screw it. I've got a 1st round back. Let me get the best quarterback. Or he's just the biggest Bills homer ever. Highly doubt Chris is playing 3D chess. It's a homer pick.
Yeah.
God love him for it. Well done, sir.
Shoot or shoot. And I think, he probably knew a lot of Bills fans in the draft. I want my guy. So I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to send ripples through this room. I'm maybe going to get some other GMs off their game plan.
Rattle a couple cages. And what better way to break the backs of fellow Bills fans in your league than by drafting Josh Allen? So now let's say him and Adam are in the championship game, and Adam will be forced to root for Devin Singletary to somehow carry the team, or Zach Moss to kill off.
Listen, I'm not worried about facing him in the championship because later on he drafted Jared Cook, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, among others, and he took the Bucs defense in the 6th round. I'm not that worried about this.
They say that the steel is truly sharpened in the latter rounds of the fantasy football draft.
Brian,
and for those wondering, Justin Tucker went in the 9th round this year.
Wow. Okay, so he's fallen a little bit.
Hey, he fell a little bit. You know, he's getting up there in age. Not the same kicker he once was.
Not who we all expect. Kramer, we actually did our big money ETH league. That was really fun. It got to high levels of nerddom because the draft order was decided. You were assigned like a random cryptocurrency, and whatever crypto performed the best, that's how the rank was decided. We got Ripple. Ripple had a good 24-hour period, so we got the number 1 pick overall. Now I do, and check out the rankings page, which Adam curates over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I do have Dalvin Cook as my number 1. I do think that Christian McCaffrey is probably going to get injured, but you talked me off the ledge. We went Christian McCaffrey. We got the number 1 overall pick. After that, we went Darren Waller at round 2, number 20. The thought there was it's a 10-team league. Yeah, I feel like especially in a 10-team league, you got to get a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's specifically
the top tier one
in the positions where you're only going to carry one. It benefits to have elite ability, especially when you see the gap between Kelsey and Waller and the rest of the field.
Justin Jefferson, we got Tyler Lockett, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. Of course, we got Robbie Anderson, Marquez Callaway in the 8th, Antonio Brown, Laviska Shenault, all the way down in round 10, pick 100, Jalen Hurts in round 11, and Kramer came in saying you can't have Sanders and Hurts. We got Sanders in the 5th round. I mean, Jalen Hurts in the 11th round. Basically, everyone else picked a quarterback, and so we just waited. And why not take Jalen Hurts? Ryan, you seem upset that we have Jalen Hurts.
I thought there might be a chance that we do this stupid draft and that Hurts is the last guy available.
Yeah,
I thought there was a chance that was possible. I shouldn't have let us draft Miles Sanders. That was I actually like Miles Sanders this year.
Yeah. Well, then what's wrong with that?
Because I don't think the Eagles are going to score 30 points every week. I don't think the Eagles are going to score 20 points some week. So that's what worries me about that. But you know,
Jalen Hurts going to get a ton of rushing yards.
It's only 1 ETH.
Yeah.
So
we got this covered. And then
pocket change, right, Kramer?
Exactly.
You got a whole bunch of that ETH just lying around, burning a hole in your pocket.
Those are those things
we
need
just spend it.
Yeah, we have those rattling around in the SGPN safe, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, not even in the safe. They're in the dash in the SGPN mobile, just there to throw at the toll guy.
Yeah, those are the things.
Ashtray money.
Those are the things we use to buy those digital racehorses, right, Sean?
Yeah, it is. And shout out to our
Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts. Love that pick. I mean,
yeah, come
Kramer,
on.
I know you're over there complaining, but you got to remember, it's all about getting that rushing upside quarterback. Jalen Hurts has that in spades. There were games where he was rushing for more yards than he was throwing for last year. And at the end of the day, if he's going to rush for 100 yards and get into the end zone, he's going to get you 20 points a week. Get all over that.
I allowed it. I understand the logic. I co-signed.
You were the one who told us to wait on quarterback, and we waited, and that he was clearly the best quarterback available when we drafted. I mean, he was the 10th quarterback drafted.
Yeah.
How can you not be excited about that positional value?
Points. I love, best player available. We did a pretty good job from that perspective.
I said I was open to taking Lamar, and you said let's wait. And we ended up with Jalen Hurts.
As I was watching the draft, it just seemed like we should wait anyway. No one wants to hear about our league, Sean.
We got to get a little roster baiting out of the way. Okay, this week's Real Men of Degens, of course, brought to you by PropSwap.com. Use promo code SGP. PropSwap is where America goes to buy and sell sports bets.
SGPN presents Real Men of Degens. Real Men of Degens. We salute you.
Enter Valencia. That's right, a rare soccer Real Men of Degens. Apparently, and I have no idea if this is true, but I'm reading it on Twitter, so I'm going to consider it real news.
Fact.
Ecuador's Enter Valencia faked an injury yesterday in a World Cup qualifier to escape the police after being reported for not paying child support. He's writhing around in pain. They're taking him away in an ambulance. And shout out to listener Devin for tagging us and nominating him for this week's Real Men of Degens. And Valencia going the extra mile to avoid.
Feels like a real short-term decision.
Yeah, I feel like they're still gonna eventually find you. Interesting choice, Enter. We'll see if that works out for you. All right, now we're gonna talk DF.
Oh God.
We're gonna talk DFS lineups. Kramer, I will.
No, you can't give me the honors.
Why?
You're the $200,000 man.
Okay,
come on.
Since
Sean.
I'm the $200,000 man, and I'm going to try and get up to 32 lineups. I've done this before. The Millie makers are only $5, so I think getting 32, one for each starting quarterback. I might have multiple ones. Jalen Hurts. I realize the listeners are probably sick of me talking about how awesome Jalen Hurts is going to be in fantasy, so I chose not to give out a Jalen Hurts lineup. You're welcome, America. Instead, I will go with, and I know I've been all running quarterback overall. This guy has kind of secret rushing potential. Ryan Tannehill, just coming off the COVID list.
Hashtag Team Ryan.
At home, $6,500 against the Arizona Cardinals. The non-conference road game for the Cardinals. And you look at not including the playoff game where the Ravens kind of had the perfect defense for the Titans and really slowed him down. But the last two other home games for Ryan Tannehill, at home against the Lions, another non-conference opponent who doesn't have a good defense, he threw for 273, 3 touchdowns, also 3 carries for 21 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, which was, I mean, if you can get, he had 7 last year, which is kind of is certainly an outlier for Ryan Tannehill. But if he can just steal 1 from Derrick Henry, I'm going to feel pretty good. Game before that against the Browns, who by all accounts do have a good defense. You remember that game kind of turned into a crazy shootout, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns. And again, ran for he didn't run at all that game, but I do think he's got some rushing upside, 6,500. And I'm going to be instituting the overall Millie Maker strategy where you do a double stack, come back with another receiver.
Always double stacks only.
For like a true Millie Maker lineup, according to ETR, that's Ryan.
The edge is there.
You
right?
mentioned that everyone's on the single stack, and I do think there is still enough of an edge when we're playing the GPP, really trying to win that truck money. As I mentioned to the people in the UCLA tailgate, that the truck that was at the tailgate was from me picking Tariq Cohen in DFS.
And I think it's like what 35% of lineups stack, but 50% of lineups in the top 100 stack. So,
yeah, and then, double stack, and then triple stacking is kind of where it falls off. So I'm gonna be playing textbook, giving you a textbook Millie Maker. I'll be playing a bunch of other ones, and maybe I will get a post up as well over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, breaking them all down. Adam, that is my case for Ryan Tannehill, but really it's just a case against the Cardinals defense. Maybe Henry goes off, but I think the Titans passing game having a big game is certainly in the cards, pun intended. Adam, what are you doing for the quarterback spot?
So I'm going contrarian here more. Justin Herbert has a tough week 1 matchup on paper against the Washington football team. However, he's a guy who threw for 300 yards so many times last year, carved up even the best defenses, threw for 4 touchdowns against New Orleans, threw for a touchdown against the Bills and 300 yards. You know, he's a guy who's going to chuck it all over the yard. And that's just too appealing here. Nice price point at 6,700. And there's a juicy option that's really just stealing into, I really want to have Keenan Allen in my week 1 lineup because he's just an absolute beast. And this steers into that. And I have a nice contrarian double stack as well coming, but I'll save the double stack for later. But Keenan Allen's the first part of the stack.
Donald Parham alert. We're on Donald Parham watch.
Confirm nor deny. I can neither confirm nor deny that there will be an XFL sighting.
And there are a number of interesting tight ends. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but again, if you've noticed, they've adjusted the price point. So bottom for running backs last year, they switched is 4,000. Bottom receivers are 3,000. Again, that's probably why you should be using your flex spot on a receiver, taking a long shot on one of these guys. Whatever, if it makes sense for the lineup. But then tight ends, it goes down as low as 2,500. So if you like one of these $2,500 tight ends, there's, it frees up a lot of other opportunities there. Kramer, what do you got? Quarterback.
I was very, very tempted. No, come on. Even a homer like myself isn't going to play Daniel Jones against that Denver defense, or am I? I'll certainly have a lineup with him. But first of all, neither of you pointed it out, so I shared this on social. But Deshaun Watson being priced at $6,900, like someone has a fucking sense of humor there.
You have to know when to come.
Pretty hilarious.
There's no other reason to be at that price.
There's zero
for
reason.
The guy who's going to sit on the bench all
and
season.
when the DK pricing came out, this news about Deshaun Watson probably being suspended, not playing week 1 was definitely out.
What does this tell you?
Yeah,
the computers are already in our heads. They know what they're doing.
Our minds.
The Degentron 5000 is hard at work over there at DraftKings.
And boy, would I love to come in here with a Tyrod Taylor double stack. But I can't do that. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the eye test. I watched this Philly secondary, and I know, Sean, you could tell me they might have a good defensive line.
Yep.
Sure. Maybe. But what I do know is their back end's not going to hold up against some grown ass men there in Atlanta. And I do think this profiles to a game that should be a shootout. So I'm going to take hashtag Matt Team Ryan, Matty Ice guy I used to hate. I don't think I hate him so much anymore. Could be completely washed up, but the matchup just seems juicy. He's only 6,000. What did we learn last week, Sean? Who led the league in passing week 1 last year? Matt Ryan. So
he did have Julio Jones, who he doesn't have this year.
Well, I guess you would just say he has Kyle Pitts, but so I'm going to start off my team with Matt Ryan for 6,000.
And I'm guessing we'll probably get to it, but Kyle Pitts, as an Eagles fan, I'm definitely nervous about Kyle Pitts. Rodney McLeod coming off injury, Anthony Harris, new system. I think we're able to hang with Calvin Ridley, but I think Kyle Pitts could be an issue if he's as hyped up as everyone says. Austin Ekeler is my first running back, $7,000. Adam was kind of hitting on the case of the Chargers going up against the WFTs, and again, Washington does have a really good pass rush. How do you neutralize the pass rush? You get the screen game going. You get some easy throws to the running back, a guy that they're comparing to possibly an Alvin Kamara type role. I mean, when you're picking these running backs, I like to find a guy who can hypothetically get double digit catches. Last year, even in not a complete year for Ekeler, who missed a bunch of games in the middle of the season, he had 2 11 catch games and a 9 catch game. So if we can get up to that double digit catches, and again, Mike Williams is kind of banged up. Keenan Allen is obviously going to get his, but no Hunter Henry. We'll see what happens with Parham. I think Parham's interesting and fun, like red zone target, but I do think Ekeler is just going to get his from the receiving point of view. So Austin Ekeler, $7,000 at the WFTs. What do you got? What do you got for us, Adam, at running back?
I had to go with my number 1 ranked running back, Dalvin Cook, kicking it off big time, 9,100, the premium guy that I went with, but I, going to back it up with my next running back, who's definitely bargain basement. The thing you got to remember, last year, the Cincinnati Bengals defense was absolutely atrocious. They gave up 150 times, more than 6 times, but 150 yards more than 6 times. They get carved up on the ground. They're not good. The Vikings are going to get up, and then they're going to be in put the game away mode, and they're just going to let Dalvin Cook wear that Cincy defense down. He's going to get the work through the air. He's 9,100 for a reason. I believe second highest priced running back. You got to go with it. You got to go with a guy like that right off the rip and find the value on the back end, which I did with guys who may or may not have names that rhyme with Sharham.
Yeah, no, I totally see that angle. I mean, yeah, back up the Brinks truck.
I'm co-signing this one. 9,100. It's the matchup of all matchups. This Bengals defense has to show me something. I understand it's on the road, but I wanted to. I mean, I wanted to back and escalate into my garage. I did enjoy how Dalvin Cook was priced compared to Christian McCaffrey at the top. And so I went with Adam. I feel it. Maybe my lineup will be extra chalky, but
well, I would say this: Dalvin Cook probably going to be super high ownership, but when you're putting together these lineups, it's okay to have one or two of those mega chalk plays, as long as that we're talking about balancing it out with some guys that are super low owned. I think as long as you're factoring that in, that hey, this is a lot of people are going to have Dalvin Cook in their lineup, so it's hard to separate yourself. But again, the matchup is so easy. The other side is when you look at these millionaire maker lineups that win, there's a couple plays in there that are always super chalky, and Dalvin Cook being one of them certainly makes sense, especially week one. My second running back, again, trying to find a guy who isn't on a bunch of people's radar, that has a high ceiling when it comes to pass catching. Bit of an unknown here. Now I mentioned Ekeler kind of is like Kamara. Teddy Bridgewater compared Javonte Williams' skill set to Alvin Kamara. He would know, former Saints quarterback. He's only 4,000. It's rock bottom pricing against the Giants, who again, I think the Giants, Ryan, you're a big advocate of Bradbury Island. I think maybe they are able to slow down the receivers, which Teddy Bridgewater, the butler, he likes nice, easy check down. We've seen what
this is true.
He's thrown a bunch to Christian McCaffrey. He's thrown a bunch to Mike Davis. Javonte Williams, he could not even have a monster game overall, but still give you a ton of points at 4,000. I mean, Javonte Williams having a 7-catch game is not crazy to me. We've certainly seen rookie running backs come in and all of a sudden, they're doing something a little different. They're involving him in the pass game. Noah Fant is banged up. Maybe he eats some of those easy passes. So yeah, give me Javonte Williams. Adam, what do you think about Javonte Williams at 4,000? Is that too easy? Am I crazy?
I think he's definitely a little low at 4,000, and I think he's going to start to come up over the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if week 2 his price jumped up over 5,000. Big swing coming once he gets a lot of the workload, but you're going with the wrong cheap back. I went $400 more, so I splurged. I got a little, I was feeling nice, so I treated myself to some Ty Johnson against the Carolina Panthers.
I like that.
And he's
angle.
someone who's just going to sit there, and people are going to be out on him because they think Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman are going to get the work. There's been enough buzz out of Jets camp about Ty Johnson that they intend to use him at 4,400. He's a guy who gives you that bargain basement pricing that's going to go well with Dalvin Cook at 9,100. So you're spending for the premium with Dalvin Cook, but then you're stealing the PPR upside, the goal line work of Ty Johnson. And he's a guy who's going to get into the end zone probably once in week 1 and be carrying your team towards that $1 million payday.
Let's fucking go. Kramer. And one note I wanted to bring up was that Fangio actually said, because Javonte Williams didn't play in the last preseason game, he was a healthy scratch.
They're showcasing the other guy,
and they were trying to run the shit out of Melvin Gordon. The fact that he said he'd seen enough of Javonte Williams and didn't play him in the 3rd preseason game, that is a rookie who's gonna get some work come week 1. So that was just another reason I'm on it. And the Ty Johnson thing, yeah, again, I still kind of like maybe Michael Carter and some best balls, but yeah, week 1, it seems like he's the guy, and that Carolina defense still has a bunch of issues. They spent some draft capital on a cornerback, but we'll see. Still could be trouble.
Sean,
yeah, what do you got, Kramer?
Again, like the running back options. I feel like there's a couple here that I would be lying to everyone if I didn't just slam myself on the island. And Gus Edwards doesn't play until Monday night, so he's not part of the Millie Maker slate. So I can't stomp on that island because his pricing is just bonkers wrong, obviously. But Jamaal Williams, he is part of the slate. He isn't going to be a popular play playing against the top defense. Got that red next to his name in the opponent rank. And what do we know about Jamaal Williams? Well, the coaches like him.
Yeah,
Swift might not be on the field.
Yeah.
The coaches like him. He's really good in the passing game. Knows how to block. Could be the check down Charlie for Jared Goff. I'm willing to gamble.
Could get a ton of red zone looks.
Well, I don't know if they'll have a ton of red zone looks.
Well, and that's the problem with playing a Detroit Lion skill player.
But I do think that the ceiling for targets could be pretty high because we don't know where they're going to go with Goff on this team. We think they're going to go to Hawkinson. We don't know which receiver. We like the rapport he has with Amon St. Brown, but we know the coaches like Jamaal Williams.
Yes.
So give me Jamaal Williams for only 4,500. Kind of similar to what Adam did there with a premium Escalade paired with a. Honestly, this is a nice SUV that can drive over rocks. It might not be pretty looking, but it's like a 2009 4Runner.
Okay.
Right. It's gonna get you to the finish line.
Now I wonder if Jamaal Williams, who has an interesting voice. Have you ever heard him do an interview? He's kind of a squirrely guy. It has a kind of a funny, interesting voice. I would just hope a reporter says, "Did you hear Jamaal Williams? You're just compared to a 2009 Toyota."
He'd probably
RAV4.
appreciate that. Well, I should go American, right? Maybe a Bronco.
A Bronco would be not the new Broncos.
Like a 94 Bronco, maybe.
Okay, we're trying to get you paid with these sweet lineups, but we're also getting you paid via oddscrowd.com. There's over $30,000 in cash prizes up for grabs, both season long and weekly contests, NFL, college football, the free roll football contest, the season long, partnering up with Odds Crowd. They're giving away $10,000 for the season long pick 'em. Make sure you get in that. All you got to do is go to the oddscrowd.com website or download the Odds Crowd app. And again, it's not just fantasy betting contests. They also got a social app for sports bettors. Fun way for you and your buddies to mix it up. And we have weekly $100 SGPN exclusive contests. You have to download the app, the SGPN app, and it's a separate contest. So enter your weekly picks there. All that over at oddscrowd.com. And not only are we making you money with free picks, we're also saving you money via Mint Mobile. You're tired of getting ripped off. Who reads a cell phone contract? I just got have you ever looked at the paperwork involved in that? No. And that's why you want to go with someone like Mint Mobile. If you're tired of getting ripped off of big wireless, highly suggest checking out Mint Mobile. You know what their secret sauce is? They don't have stores. They don't, no brick and mortar stores because you don't need them. Yeah, you've gotten a cell phone. You know how they do it. Send it right to you in the mail. They pass on the savings direct to you. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Oh my God. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Very easy just to switch it over. If you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered. 7-day money back guaranteed to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free. Just go to mintmobile.com/sportssgp, mintmobile.com/sportssgp. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/sportssgp. Back talking receivers. I'm going to start with my bring back. There is some, we're taping this on a Monday, laboring on Labor Day, for people who have to do real work, drive to a real job. Hopefully we're keeping you guys entertained. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know what this undisclosed injury he's dealing with. I have a feeling they've just been healthy scratching this guy. He hasn't been on the practice field much. Who knows? I'm going to keep an eye on it. But right now, DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals. Again, Tennessee has their own secondary issues, and D-Hop is a guy you could just pencil in for those double-digit targets, even at $7,800 on the road. He's going to be a huge part of the game plan. We've seen this. They go out of their way to get this guy the ball. So give me DeAndre Hopkins, 7,800. Adam, what are you looking at your first receiver?
First receiver, I'm wrapping up. I'm starting the Chargers stack with Keenan Allen. Just got to go with that right off the rip. He's a man who averages 10 targets a game. He's bargain basement value for that kind of production at 6,900. You'd expect him to be a lot higher. Instead, he's sitting there, all the way just ahead of Julio Jones, who's his team's number 3 option, I think, in reality, behind AJ Brown and Derrick Henry on offense. So Keenan Allen is the clear-cut number 1 pass catcher out there in LA/San Diego. Give me Keenan Allen.
Kramer, what do you got?
Time, baby.
Sacks.
My number 1.
Give it to the people. Give people the Calvin Ridley comparison.
Overall wide receiver. Give me Calvin Ridley again. Eye test. Is Slay gonna follow Ridley around?
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. I just don't think that's a great matchup.
Yeah, he's going to get shadowed by Big Play Slay.
Let's go.
So named because he gives up big plays.
I mean, like a guy like DK Metcalf gave him trouble. I think he'll be able to hang with Calvin Ridley, but
are you saying he's not a big physical guy? Are you throwing shade at Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, I'm throwing a little shade at Calvin Ridley. He's not DK Metcalf. I'll throw that shade over.
All right, way to make a super hot take.
No receiver is DK Metcalf, but just remember Calvin Ridley is 6'1", good size, good crisp route running, good separation. He's going to be fine. He's going to carve it up. He's got the rapport with Matt Ryan.
I watched the secondary.
I'm not worried about Calvin Ridley. I'm a little worried about our secondary. Would be worried about Matt Ryan.
You're not worried about Calvin Ridley.
No, I just said, or if you're listening, Ryan, I said I'm a little bit worried about Calvin Ridley. I'm worried about our secondary. I'm not worried about Matt Ryan.
Okay.
That I am not worried about. AJ Brown.
Strange confidence.
He is the man in Tennessee. Again, this game sack, this build is kind of leaning in to these games. And we've certainly seen them where the Titans, the passing game goes off. AJ Brown is a big part of it. He's also sitting on the question mark. I'm going to keep an eye on it. None of these injuries, it's still early in the week, seem super serious. I'll adjust late if I have to, but I mean, right now, AJ Brown, he's you could make a case. His ceiling is receiver 1 in the NFL this year, coming off a season 70 catches, 1,075 yards, 11 touchdowns, and that was only in like 13 games. So he feels like prime for a breakout year. And having Julio Jones, who we'll get to in a second, I think is just gonna help this Titans passing offense. Adam, what do you got? Who's your second receiver?
Second receiver going to Carolina, picking up some Robby Anderson against the old team revenge game for Robby Anderson and Sam Darnold going against the New Jersey B-sides. I think they're going to have a big game. The Jets have looked awful. The Jets are awful. That defense is due to be carved up by a man who was slighted by them 2 years ago when they let him walk in free agency. And he walked right into freedom in Carolina with Joe Brady. Sam Darnold has seen the promised land now. It's going to be good.
Lock it up. We're all over him as well.
Can I ask a question? Because we haven't talked a lot about it, but Malcolm Butler is a cornerback we like to fade. Malcolm Butler plays in the Cardinals. Is Malcolm Butler going to be playing in this defense? Because it would make me like, I'm basically flipping a coin here. Do I play Julio? Do I play AJ Brown? I want a piece of this Titans Cardinals game in DFS. Absolutely. I think there will be points here. And part of me wants to just play Julio because I do you think he'll be the less popular play, Sean?
Well, also didn't Malcolm Butler announce his retirement?
I don't know.
Yeah. I thought Malcolm Butler kind of retired and the news dropped this week that he was actually sick the week before the Super Bowl when he got mysteriously benched, got demoted, and then couldn't get his head right to play. So it sounds like he hasn't been right for years. And Malcolm Butler is retired is what is my understanding from everything.
So unlikely he'll be playing. But the fact that one of the guys that was probably going to be in your passing defense, it just abruptly retires is a red flag for me. So I'm trying to get as much as I can against this Arizona pass defense.
But the question is, can he pull the reverse Vontae Davis, unretire at halftime and show up to play the second half?
I don't know. I think he has to be on the 53 man. We'll have to dig deep on that.
I still think Malcolm Butler's stink being there all off season matters.
No, well, they were a guy that they thought he was going to play, and then he retires because he can't run anymore.
Who's the more popular guy this week, ownership wise?
Ooh, that's tough because people love playing Julio. And both of them have a red Q next to them right now. I don't know how that impacts ownership.
These teams, it's like it's such bullshit. Why do we need to figure out the injury report thing? When they went away from the probable, questionable, doubtful, right to the questionable, these Belichick coaches, they just fucking throw Q on everyone.
Yeah,
and it's like,
well, and Julio Jones always.
This is why you need to subscribe to SGPN and pay attention to what Sebastian's saying. Sebastian Fearon is your man for the injury news, ladies and gentlemen. He knows the stuff. He will tell you who's going to play. The injury report drops in the next couple days for week 1.
I like that. He also did enjoy my pick of Kenny Galladay in the FFP.
Make sure you give him a follow at SGPN Football Doc. He's got a bunch of good stuff.
I'll stick with the original point. Bringing the teammates back together. Julio Jones 6,800 to pair with Calvin Ridley, my wide receiver 2.
Okay, so yeah, I'm also Julio with the double stack. Again, I just don't know anyone on that Cardinals defense that can cover AJ Brown or Julio Jones. I'm salivating at this lineup. Kramer, I have a feeling the Titans are going to make their way into our card. Why not just load up a little bit more with this Millie Maker stack? And now, certainly, the way this gets messed up is if it turns into an ugly game, or if Derrick Henry has a Derrick Henry like game and just steals all the touchdowns and eats up all the yards. But I'm leaning into this Titans passing attack. Give me Julio Jones to pair with AJ Brown. All three of my receivers have the red Q, so I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that injury report, and we will be counting you down with the live pregame show, answering all your questions. So I'm sure some late injury shit will go down. So stay tuned for that. Who's your what do you got, Adam? Who's your final receiver?
Third receiver, I'm going to Houston, and I'm taking Brandin Cooks. He's a man who's always produced. He does it year after year with every conceivable kind of quarterback you could want. He did it with Jared Goff. He was a fantasy relevant option. He's been fantasy relevant at every stop. He's a great price at 5,300, because as you're filling out your roster after you take some top end talent, 5,300, would you rather have Brandin Cooks, who's his team's undisputed number 1 option, or Russell Gage, who's his team's 4th best pass catcher, Odell Beckham Jr., who's not the best receiver on his team, Cortland Sutton playing in a crowded receiver room. Brandin Cooks is the undisputed number 1 in Houston. Well worth the price to get a wide receiver 1 at 5,300.
He's part of my Tyrod double stack. I like that play, Adam. I really do.
No, Brandin Cooks. We're the only people talking Texans DFS and fantasy options in the world.
All right, Sean.
Especially week 1 against the Jags.
No, well, we might be. And adjacent to us, my dad, we got a big auction draft tomorrow night with some guys back in upstate New York. And he said, I don't care what else happens in this draft, but we are getting Tyrod Taylor on our team.
Oh, wow. I love that kind of commitment.
Dedication.
Is he a Hokie alumni?
Huh?
Is he a Hokie alumni?
He's not, but he is the biggest Tyrod Taylor fan. And another day, if we ever talk about Sammy Watkins, I'll tell you my dad's great story with Sammy Watkins, because it's just quintessential dad moment.
Winners win. All right,
winners win.
Wide receiver 3. Who is the wide receiver 1 for the Eagles?
That would be a good question. I mean, I think target share wise, it's going to be Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
I think you could make a case that Jalen Reagor actually outperforms him in maybe a couple games, but target wise, it's definitely going to be Devonta Smith.
I got to bring it back with someone. I thought about bringing it back with Dallas Goedert. I don't know if I want to have 2 tight ends on the squad, so I'm gonna go with the rookie. He has experience playing in this building.
Yep,
on the turf. Devonta Smith, 4,500.
It's gonna create some separation. Kramer,
my model sees lots of value here with the projected 9.7 targets.
You could do worse, and I like the Devonta Smith play. I would also throw out Quez Watkins. If you're playing in a GPP, he's only $3,000. We saw the boom potential that Quez Watkins has. Hurts has gone out of his way to say he likes throwing to the guy. Quez Watkins, I think my model.
They're rookies together, right?
Yeah. Quez Watkins, I'm penciling in for 6 targets. They're going to get him at least 1 or 2. He's a guy like Devonta Smith that they're going to set up for a run after the catch. So he's going to get some guaranteed looks, at least 1 deep shot to Quez Watkins. If that hits, that's the kind of plays you get $1 million. So, and also you could talk me into Quez Watkins being the number 1 target in Philly for this game. So if you got Hurts at 6,400 and Quez Watkins at 3,000, that's a decent stack in a dome environment. At only 9,400 leaves you tons of salary to do a bunch, to go chalkier, to get some of the bigger names. And who knows? I think Hurts actually could be fairly chalky from the early ownership stuff.
And just remember, Watkins really didn't have a full rookie season, so he's kind of in his rookie year right now. this could be a big breakout for him because he did. And that infamous week 17 game, he did play 54% of the snaps. So there is plenty of NFL level film about Quez Watkins for a man who spent the first half of the season inactive.
Yeah. It seems like the starting three receivers are going to be Devonta Smith and Quez on the outside, and then Rager in the slot. Although we'll see, they haven't really announced it, but I think Quez Watkins at 3,000 is a guy you want to get involved in if you're playing a GPP. I won't shut up about this guy. I know he's going up against the Bills, but give me Pat Freiermuth, only $2,500. I just like the kid. Give me Pat Freiermuth. What more do I need to say?
Not much else. The Bills struggle to contain tight ends at times. That's a real nice pick. That's a spot where you can find some nice value.
Kid. And apologize for whoever made fun of me for saying he went to Notre Dame. I was delirious. You know, when you're driving the content train hour after hour, sometimes you make mistakes. Pat Freiermuth, though, by all accounts, great camp. I know I'm just kind of writing off Eric Ebron, but as Adam pointed out, the Pittsburgh tight ends or Buffalo struggles with tight ends. Not amazing against the coverage of tight ends, and I think they're going to have their hands full with the receivers. So Pat Freiermuth snags a touchdown. I mean, that's really all you need at 2,500.
That's like a children's book title. Freiermuth snags a touchdown.
I think I read that. My grandmother had it. It was like it was one of those cheap old cardboard books from the 40s.
It was one of the
she had one of those chilling around.
Yeah,
but you can be forgiven for thinking Penn State is Notre Dame. They're both Midwestern schools, well past their prime.
Shots fired.
Scandal adjacent, and just really get all this undeserved credit, and they don't back it up with anything ever. They're just. They're all talk, no game, really.
Just talking all that hot shit. Meanwhile, my Hokies beating top 10 teams, baby. Let's fucking go.
Right.
Tight end.
Hey, Notre Dame won. They didn't cover.
Oh, Adam.
Listen, Syracuse took it. Syracuse took it to that crappy Midwest Ohio team. But we're going here. It's been teased since we started this podcast. It's Donald Parham at the tight end slot, 3,100. Y'all. The fact that everyone still thinks Jared Cook is the tight end to roster, the tight end that's going to step into Hunter Henry's 100 targets per year is insane. Jared Cook has looked washed. Donald Parham, 6'8", dominant down the seam. He's a guy who's going to go up and get the ball. What are you going to do with him? You're going to put a linebacker on him who can't run with him, but might have the size to scratch his chin, maybe can't get up to the ball. You're going to put a safety on him who can run with him, but God, safeties are 5'10" on a good day. Parham doesn't even have to jump to get that ball. Parham's going to go for a touchdown here in week 1 as the Chargers carve up Washington. He should be in your lineups every week until they adjust his pricing to reflect his top 10 tight end status.
I like that.
Impassioned Donald Parham take.
I enjoy when Adam cuts a XFL related promo. All right.
Chargers OC Joe Lombardi impressed by Donald Parham's growth. What more do you want to see?
He's growing more. What kind of growth is he talking about?
Yeah, I think this guy's growing days are over.
I think the Lakers called about him playing power forward this year. They're trying to stay under the cap, so he's going to be their 4th string.
Lakers are only interested in washed up guys that are 6'8". Kramer, what do you got?
That's true.
What do you got?
Just keeping it in the SEC. Rookie Kyle Pitts, double stack. I mean, again, the Eagles weren't necessarily the best team against the tight end to begin with. Linebacker play has kind of been shoddy. Again, I don't trust the back end. We expect Kyle Pitts to have some fun deployments. I fully expect him to have a big play for a touchdown in this game because of some nice Arthur Smith schemed up offense. 4,400 again. The prices on these guys a little bit depressed because I think the absolute both Devonta Smith and Kyle Pitts seem to have pretty locked in floors, and it seems like the floor is at their pricing. So perhaps I'll once again my lineup will end up chalky, but I'm going Kyle Pitts 44.
Well, and maybe Adam saw more of it, but have you guys seen a bunch of buzz about Kyle Pitts? To me, it was weird. All the buzz was preseason, pre-draft, like even preseason. I haven't seen any sort of sweet preseason highlights from Kyle Pitts or even training camp videos. He
made a play or two in the preseason.
Okay, no, and maybe I'm just missing it. I'm just saying I feel like I haven't my feed isn't red hot with Kyle Pitts mentions.
I'll say this as a fan, as someone who loved Calvin Johnson. He had a play in one of the preseason games where you can see those types of comps just because he doesn't look like a guy who's that big running down the field on an NFL field. He does not look like he's 6'6", and he was dusting guys. So that to me, if you put him in the hands of a smart offensive mind, which he's been put into, I think I'm probably more bullish on him now than I was to start the process.
Yeah, you were a little out on Kyle Pitts. Thought he shouldn't have been a top 10 pick.
I'm still out on him from the football angle of like being a top 10 pick, but I think he's going to step into a nice fantasy role.
And I think the fact that you haven't seen a lot of highlights coming out is just he's doing what we expected him to do.
Yeah.
He's not an out of nowhere guy, and he's performed well enough that no one's trying to take a victory lap on him as it stands, because there's also the unknown fact of there are a lot of targets to go around in that Atlanta offense that projects to be playing in front of a bad defense. At the end of the day, Kyle Pitts, if he's getting targeted 100 times, the hype needs to be real about him still.
Agreed. All right. For my flex spot, you want to go receiver here. I spent $5,000 on a guy who the game script, it could be interesting, could be some points in this game. And by all accounts, he could be the receiver one. We don't really know, but at $5,000, give me Laviska Shenault heading down to the Houston Texans. Again, Texans have certainly had their issues. Marvin Jones has been banged up. DJ Chark has been banged up. It sounds like they're both going to go week one, but they're also both coming off injuries. And it seems like Laviska Shenault is the only receiver who's had a healthy camp, who's had some time to build any sort of chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. To me, he seems like the guy who's going to catch the most balls, see the most targets. Now you have no ETN as well, who is going to be involved in the passing game. I feel like that can only help Laviska Shenault, kind of a guy that may get used in some reverses, any sort of like gadget stuff. He could get the look. So Laviska Shenault at 5,000, I'm all in on that. And I know I made a case before about Marvin Jones, but he's been banged up, dealing with some stuff coming back. But Adam, are you on board with Laviska?
I mean, if there's a Jaguars receiver I want, it's probably Laviska where he's going right now. Just because he has more ways. He has more ways to get involved. They're going to get him the ball in the short game. It feels like it's going to be a little bit more of a college style offense. And Laviska Shenault does a lot better with those short yardage screens, end arounds, things like that. I think they're going to work to get him involved. So at that price point, I really like Laviska Shenault coming in versus DJ Chark or Marvin Jones.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like a week one play, but I feel, I don't know. I mean, that game.
Not
really
worried about that Texans defense.
Not really. No, I mean, I think the spread is crazy to make the Jags a 3-point road favorite, but I'm not terribly worried about their defense. We'll see. It's a bit of an unknown, but would you be shocked if Laviska Shenault had 10 targets?
No.
Yeah. So
not at all.
If you're getting,
they're going to be short. They're going to be short, but it's PPR, and all he needs to do is find the end zone on one of those catches, and you're golden.
Yep, that's all you're looking for. All right, what do you got? Who's your flex?
Okay, I've been going back and forth here between two Patriots, which pains me so, but the value is just so good. Going back and forth between Jakobi Meyers and Damian Harris. I finally just settled on Jakobi Meyers for the PPR upside. Mac Jones is a guy who's going to look for guys who are open, creating separation. Jakobi Meyers, crisp route runner, percentage targeted on a large percentage of his routes run last year. I think it was top 20 last year. He was up in like 20. He was at like 26% of his routes that he ran. He was targeted last year. He's a guy who's going to be more involved in this offense. He could be the next great Patriots slot receiver. Although I like Damian Harris getting the opportunity, seeing some more red zone work. I just like the upside of the PPR more with Jakobi Meyers because I don't know how involved Damian Harris gets in the passing game.
Yeah, no. And Damian Harris, the case for him is Cam Newton's not there for the goal line touches. He's going to get all those goal line looks, but it is still Belichick. Stevenson could still have a role. I don't know. And you want to play a receiver in that flex spot, I think, under your head. Kramer, what are you doing? Close it out with your flex. Although we got defense too, of course.
We do have defense, of course. Man, I really wanted to get a Cincinnati receiver here, and I almost threw T. Higgins into this spot, but I wanted to. This is $1 million lineup, and so I'm going to stick to wanting to have some action in that Arizona Tennessee game. And I wanted to have a guy who was $3,000 because, like you mentioned earlier, that's how you win $1 million. So I'm going to take Rondale Moore. I'm going to throw him in.
Ooh.
He's 3,000. We project this game to have a lot of points, maybe even more points than the Minnesota game, and which is why it's easy to get off of T. Higgins even at that price. Rondale Moore at 3,000. It's gonna, same thing you said about Quez Watkins. Could you see Rondale Moore shredding through this secondary, scoring a touchdown? Absolutely. Is he potentially a fun second guy to stack?
No, if I was building the Kyler lineup, which I probably will, because I'm going to build a ton. But yeah, the Kyler, Rondale, and then DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think AJ Green to me isn't I don't know, the upside isn't there. I mean, he's 3,800. Maybe he's the guy, and we'll see if this what this injury ends up being with DeAndre Hopkins. Like maybe there's a world where, he plays, but he's limited and isn't 100%. And Rondale Moore gets a ton of looks. I mean, I would take him. I would also, if you're looking to get involved in that Jets Carolina, building some lineups in there, Elijah Moore should be on your list as well. I mean, you got to take some of these rookie receivers at 3,000 in the flex spot, because we don't know, they could have a massive workload, target share, and really pop. And that's how you get to the the top of these tournaments.
Yeah, and honestly, like making the lineups, you've been staring at these prices for so long.
It's great,
and it's just like there's so many other guys I want to talk about, like Nyheim Hines and a comeback role against the Seahawks.
Why don't we? Well, after we give out our defenses, we'll throw out some other names that we didn't get in these lineups.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll let ourselves run long. Normally, you shouldn't pay up for defenses. And this isn't certainly, they're not one of the top defenses. They're 3,300. So kind of in the middle towards the top end. They are on the road, but the Denver Broncos against that Giants offensive line, I just don't see how the Giants are able to block Von Miller and Bradley Chubb.
Square play, road defense.
And yeah, we've seen Surtain with the pick six in preseason. There's anyone that may lead to a defensive touchdown. I think Danny Dimes is high on that list. 3,300. I just, and there is something too, if you dig deep in some of the correlation stuff, if you're going to correlate anything with the running back, it is the defense. So I think there's something there. And Broncos at 3,300. Lock it up for me. Adam, defense
went with the hometown Carolina Panthers, because they're facing that atrocious Jets offense. Last year, the Jets average giving up about 2.6 sacks per game. They had more games with double-digit with multiple turnovers than they did 300 yards of total offense. They never went over 400 total yards of offense. This is a team that's going to turn the ball over, even with Zach Wilson under center. This is a team where Zach Wilson is going to get hit. And this is a Panthers defense that is on the rise, full of young, hungry players. Last year, they took all defensive players last year. So this is full of talented young guys that are going to get after the Jets offense.
I like the angle.
What do we like to do with defenses, especially fade rookie quarterback?
That's a good angle.
Mm-hmm.
I have $3,800 left, Sean.
Ooh.
I can put any defense I want here.
What are you
I'm going to
doing?
scroll all the way to the bottom, because I see an opportunity here to win a fucking $1 million, and it's going to be about one of these two defenses. Do I go 2,200 Detroit Lions at home against Jimmy G?
Ooh.
Or
not a rookie quarterback?
No. Do I take the Houston Texans 2,100 against Lawrence? Urban Meyer. We all like to make fun of Urban Meyer. Might not be the smartest guy in the room. I saw Adam making a face like this is a horrible idea.
Well, you shouldn't leave $1,700 on the table.
Why? You got the numbers on that?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
You should try to
optimize.
You should always spend. I mean, if you have $100 or $200 that left over, that's fine. But other than that, you want to figure out a better play.
So you don't think I should take the Houston Texans at $2,100?
No.
Firing on the Houston Texans.
Because half of the games they played last year, they gave up more than 400 yards, including a 600-yard game to the Titans.
That's fine.
The Titans are not an explosive offense, and they put up 607.
That's fine.
They gave up 30 or more points. Another 8 times. They gave up 40 twice. Kramer,
you're
what
killing
are you
Adam.
doing putting Houston in this lineup?
Love it.
God, man. God.
Here's the thing. If you're gonna take I'm fine.
Are you in danger? Is this your danger signal?
You know what?
Blink
Maybe
twice
I'm fine.
if you're being coerced. Blink twice if David Culley is in the room threatening you.
Cully's gonna hook us up with some barbecue.
I'm
after
a Cully guy.
Now, here's the thing. I'm fine with you spending down for defense, but you got to take that $1,700 and find a way to, get one of your other picks to a better spot.
I need an upgrade.
Yeah, if you're, you can't take it. The salary doesn't come with you to week 2, Ryan. $1,700.
That's an interesting season-long format, though. I could get behind this with the rollover cap each week.
Ooh, all right. Are we inventing a new game of fantasy?
I think DraftKings is missing an opportunity here. Rollover cap.
Yeah.
Can I pull a Saints and borrow against my future cap as well?
That would be a fun format if you could just get basically like 1 million cap dollars, and you gotta have to spend it every week throughout the season.
The whole. I mean, yeah. The only. I mean, I could do something like upgrade to a Tyler Boyd in the flex over Rondale Moore, but I'm trying to win $1 million. I'm sticking with my lineup.
Okay.
Screw you guys.
Maybe you won't win $1 million. There's
Who's
no guarantees.
Your tight end again, Kramer?
Kyle Pitts, baby.
That's right. No, you actually got a good one. You had someone else who was cheap in there. I can't remember.
I can't help it if I did such a good job of finding a.
I don't know that that's a good job. I think that's just
inefficiencies.
I was hoping you were leading into a bit where you talked about upgrading a position, but it wasn't that well thought out. Apparently,
I could upgrade, but I don't see the need to.
You should upgrade.
I have the winning lineup.
800. What is he? What are you down? 700. You're taking 700 down with you. That's like a full tier of guys you're leaving out there. Like you're in you could upgrade to a full new tier with somebody.
All right.
While Ryan's
here's me not
fixing his
upgrading Rondale Moore.
While Ryan's working on fixing his lineup,
I can't wait.
Couple things I want to point out. There are 3 different Jay Williams at the running back spot. 2 of them have the same price. They couldn't throw us a initial and a couple the rest of some of the first names. So make sure you pick the correct Jay Williams when you're either looking for Javonte Williams, who is playing against the Giants and who has a possible interesting pass catching role. You don't want Jonathan Williams, who didn't make the Washington football team's 53-man roster, who has the same price point against the Chargers. Or if you do want Jamaal Williams at home against the 49ers, he's 4,500. So just make sure you get the right Jay Williams. Couple other guys I like in that 49ers game, Raheem Mostert, Ryan.
Yeah.
I know we're high on Trey Sermon overall for the season, but couldn't you see Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah.
He knows Jimmy G isn't the guy. That's why I drafted Trey Lance.
Yep.
So I moved up. I think he comes into Detroit and just says, fuck it. You're my boy Mostert. Run the fucking rock. And he gets a ton of carries. We pointed out, I think he led week 1 scrimmage yards last year.
Yep.
And I could see him having a similar game, similar role against the Lions. 5,800. I think having Mostert in some builds definitely makes sense. Any other guys Adam, you want to throw out? Anyone didn't make your lineup, but you think if you're making multiples, you'd like to get in?
I was originally looking at Devonta Parker, but then I ended up taking him out so I could upgrade to Robby Anderson. And I downgraded to Brandin, and I went down a little bit to Brandin Cooks, not much, just because he's going to be someone people have been sleeping on all year. And additionally, that New England secondary is missing Stephon Gilmore to start the year. So he's a guy who's going to come out. And although New England technically has a good pass defense, they're going to be down a guy, and Devonta Parker should be able to do work in that offense.
Yeah. Another one that is pretty interesting from a GPP standpoint, actually probably has some ownership. I don't know. I'm not great at predicting that. We'll have to look later in the week. Marquez Callaway. Now I know it's not a, it's not a home game, but Jameis loves the deep ball. They're playing in Florida. Jameis is very comfortable playing in Florida. Aaron Rodgers actually not as comfortable in Florida. Not great numbers going to Florida, and that's actually one of the reasons the Saints picked Florida for the neutral site.
Makes me love the Packers in that game, by the way.
Yeah, well, again, DFS Marcus Callaway only $3,400. Again, he's a young guy that could very well be the receiver number one in New Orleans there, and maybe connects on a deep ball or two.
Does feel like he'll be pretty chalky because he's so cheap.
Yeah, and certainly people saw the highlights in the preseason, so maybe the ownership wouldn't warrant that flyer. But right now, I would definitely take a look at him.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but Nyheim Hines game profiles nicely for him to have a potential huge amount of work. And then, honestly, Sean, if you could play the breaking news, if I was going to upgrade Rondale Moore. Or to fill that extra $1,700 that you folks say I can't spend next week, it would be T Higgins at 4,700. Okay. I don't think I'm going to do it though, just to spite you guys. I don't think I'm going to do it.
Teach us a lesson.
And then another guy who, like, price wise, again, at some point, someone's got to do something, and someone's got to catch a pass. The fact that Pittman is only 4,100. In a game where, again, same thing with Nyheim Hines, they're going to throw the ball, right? They're going to be down to Russ, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean,
he's the same price as Fulgham
again. Well, in Fulgham,
who's not playing,
who's on the practice squad.
The man who's bagging groceries, right?
Wow, Fulgham, if he's too lazy to compete, if he's too lazy to play hard in NFL practices, I don't know if he's going to be bagging groceries.
And everyone should just pay attention. Guys like Pittman and Higgins are criminally underpriced right now. They are clearly their team's best wide receivers, and they are valued like their wide receiver 3s or lower right now. Get in on this pricing now, early, and capitalize big in your lineups before everybody else catches on. The casuals pick up that these guys, and they're going to jump in price. They're both going to be over 5,000 in week 2. I guarantee it.
Well, and what's interesting too is you look at some of these numbers. I mean, I mentioned the Jay Williams on the WFTs that's no longer on the team. There's a number of weird pricing stuff as you look through these, because it was 2 months ago preseason, and you mentioned Travis Fulgham. He's $4,000 in comparison to Quez Watkins, who will be actually playing in the game and super involved. He's 3,000. So. Hopefully you're doing your research. Hopefully you're checking out sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I know we got a ton of content for the Degens. Adam, what if they still want to draft? What do we got week 1? What can people get over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com?
Oh, we got it all. We still got our draft cheat sheets. We got our rankings. We got our how to draft guide strategies for week 1. We've got your post-draft fab ready to roll. That's going to be coming out early this week. We're going to have John Jackson writing an introduction to your DFS DraftKings strategy. And then the flow chart is back later this week. Injury report drops, ladies and gentlemen. If you need it, we got it. And stay tuned, because Sunday night starts our coverage. We got Sunday night. We'll have the early waiver wire report for week 2. And as a special bonus, Rod Villagomez will have your Thursday night DFS picks. In case you don't like ours, Rod will have you covered too.
Thursday night showdown slate.
Might have to do that.
DFS flow chart. Kramer, it's all happening. It's all here on SGPN. Shout out to Adam. Give Adam a follow and check out all the awesome fantasy football content we got. Give him a follow over on Twitter at Adam Pelletier. Adam, best of luck with the picks, and good luck with your Bills week 1.
Go Bills. Let's go. It's football time.
Oh yeah. You like free betting picks? Of course you do. That's why you listen to Sports Gambling Podcast. But make sure you check out PicksWise, the #1 home of free sports betting picks, props, and parlays, helmed by a team of trend watching, data devouring sports fanatics, giving you the who, how, and why behind every prediction for every game, every day, and every sport, all for free. Visit PicksWise.com to make your next bet better. PicksWise backs responsible gambling. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Kramer, I want some help with trimming my massive bush. That's right. Sorry. But see, Manscaped, they have fun. Manscaped, they're all about below the belt grooming. They got that lawnmower 4.0. Don't be risking it all. I know you're a
#Degens only.
but yeah, you don't want to go risky with your Rondale more in the flex spot. You don't want to go risky when it comes with your
long cocks.
You want that in good hands, specifically Manscaped and their lawnmower 4.0. Goddamn space age technology they got in this thing. A light, your balls, your butt, even the. I don't know if I'm allowed to say gooch, but they told me to say it. Whatever that is, it's probably got hair. You want it cleaner and you want it better. And they actually have a bunch of stuff that helps you smell better as well. 20% off and free shipping with the code SGP over at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with the code SGP at manscaped.com. Don't gamble on shaving your balls with the wrong tools. Choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Sean, you know what Bruce Arians says? You don't want to risk it with that biscuit.
Yeah. All risk it, no biscuit with your DFS lineup.
No, with everything else.
With your actual
cryptocurrency, DFS lineup.
Everything else we're advocating going crazy gambling, except when it comes to your junk.
We're not saying, unlike Mike Vrabel, we're not telling you to let it ride with your junk.
Prize Picks 5-player NFL Week 1 entry, $20 entry pays $100.
Hello.
Gonna go 5-0. Let's go. First guy I got Zach Wilson over 242.5. Adam laid out a pretty good case on taking the Panthers defense, but I can see them get behind. And Zach Wilson, this is mostly for our boy Joey T. Just want to see him let it rip a little bit.
Do we even call him an expert after just laughing at my Houston Texans fade of rookie quarterback?
He really got angry, Ryan.
I do like when he cuts promos. All right. Yeah. Are we doing 5 in a row or we're going to alternate?
You can alternate.
Dalvin Cook. Love the matchup. Let's we did it for DraftKings, so we're going to do it for Prize Picks over 94.5.
Ooh,
yards.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not getting 100 yards, Sean. He's not getting 100 yards.
I'm not going against Dalvin Cook week 1 or season long. So it 94.5 is high but how do you take the under there? Dallas Goedert over 43.5 receiving yards. That's actually pretty low for Goddard. He does have some chemistry last year. He got a little bit going with Jalen Hurts. I know Zach Ertz is still around and is kind of eating into Dallas Goedert's ceiling, but I still see this game kind of being a shootout, and Goddard at 43.5 receiving yards. It feels pretty realistic.
Atlanta, not historically. I know this is a completely different team, but historically not the best team against the tight end. So there is that. I considered Goddard as a bring back option for the Eagles. So I get the angle. For me, I'm going to head over to the the quarterback market, and we're gonna hit an under because I just don't see Mac Jones throwing that many passes.
McCorkle.
And I know the number is comically low at 218.5. But does this strike you as the kind of game that they're going to roll out the McCorkle passing against? I know we haven't discussed it much, but Miami does have a good defense, and so I just don't. I don't see this as a game that he throws a lot of passes. I think they're going to run the ball. I think both teams are going to run the ball a lot here. So I'm going to take under 218.5 for McCorkle.
Kramer, and again, I got to dig deep and check out the Prize Picks rules. Of course, go to prizepicks.com, promo code SGP, get that 100% deposit bonus. But DeAndre Swift, 53.5 rushing yards. I mean, I don't even know if he sees the field under 53.5. They've been pretty open about the fact that they don't think he's practiced enough.
I'll say this: there's certainly some weird smoke going on in Detroit. Yeah. I have him on my card too. I'm going to scroll through and see if I can figure out what the official rule is. But
yeah. I'm we'll see what the rule is if they have to play to have action. Either way, I'm going to put it in there. I would imagine they would just grade it as a push worst case, but I don't see him. If he does see the field, I don't see him having a massive role and 53.5, I think could be tough. I think Jamaal Williams gets the most of that. So yeah, give me under DeAndre Swift, 53.5 rushing yards. What's your next one?
I'll just
same. I mean, we've been we've been broken records on fading Swift. I mean, had this angle prior to the injury. Now the injury makes it that much more obvious.
Okay, it comes up. Maybe we should it comes off the card if he doesn't play.
Okay. Well, he's questionable, so I'll leave it in. Raheem Mostert is my other one, over 69.5. I think Shanahan comes in and just says, we're going to give Mostert the ball a ton. I think he's I don't know how confident he is in Jimmy G. It's an easy way to limit your turnovers. Just hand the ball to Mostert a bunch. Yeah. Over 69.5.
Tom Brady under a half interceptions. Yeah. Tom Brady's not throwing an interception against the Dallas Cowboys.
I think I gave that out on the season long. Basically, guys in that Arian system, that first year they throw for highs and interceptions, and then after that, it's good. And he seemed to have, I forget his total, but it was definitely high for Brady. I think he plays a clean game, and it's just more a fade against the Cowboys defense. Speaking of fading the Cowboys, give me Dakota Rain Prescott under 12.5 rushing yards.
Wow.
I just don't see him attempting a rush.
You don't think he's going to get that leg out there, that chicken wing out there?
And maybe maybe there's down so much he gets a couple easy scrambles, but I mean, what in the game plan are they going to have? Are they going to allow Dak to run? I just don't see that at all. You got Levante David on the other side, kind of keeping an eye on him, but I mean, he's coming off that horrible ankle injury. Hasn't seen any live action. I know he's a full go in practice. Thank you everyone for sending that to me.
Why would they do that?
He has the latch strain over. I mean, 12.5 rushing yards. Is that crazy, Kramer? I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but Dak Prescott rushing yards. I feel like he's not normally a guy who rushes for a ton to begin with.
You're a bit of a hater, but
okay,
I'll allow it.
Rushing yards. Well, he had 2 carries for 12 against Cleveland, and they put up 38 points in that game.
Can I give some credit to? Can I give out a rare Cowboy over?
Really? All right.
Zeke Elliott over 20.5 receiving yards.
Ooh, okay.
That pass rush is going to be all over Dak, which is what concerns me about the rushing yards. I like the angle though because of his leg. And so I went to a slightly different one. I think they're going to get some screen games. It is Mike McCarthy after all. They're going to find Zeke in the passing game. This is what 3 catches. He's there.
Yeah,
2 catches. So I'm going to take a Cowboy over. Cowboy named Zeke, and we're not talking about his weight. No, not trying to fat shame or anything, but
no, not at all.
I think he goes over here.
So one of those 5 pick entries that we just gave out, $20 to pay 210x.
Hashtag Degens only.
Can I? Well, I'm gonna
throw out a bonus one.
I'm gonna replace Swift and give you a bonus one here. And it's under 1 reception for Ronald Jones.
Giovanni Bernard.
Why are they going to give him any of the passing work when Tommy has another one of his guys coming to town? All right,
love it.
I love it. 10-1.
Let's go and make sure you check out PrizePicks.com. Promo code SGP for 100% deposit bonus. Download the app. Get in the $100,000 NFL contest. We're trying to give out $100,000 week 1. Want to get those picks in and spread the word. Help us out here. Again, someone else, their picks aren't going to affect yours, so don't worry. It's not. You're not. Just spread the word about the app. Help us there. Merch Monday, as always, for reviews on the app or any of our podcasts. Tweet us at Gambling Podcast. Send in your reviews. Hashtag Merch Monday. Get a free shirt or some other gear we'll be giving away. Kramer, the next podcast we will be doing.
Don't say it.
We'll be live college football week 2 from the win in Las Vegas at the beautiful Blue Wire Studios. Cannot wait for that.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Sean, it's alarming how few people are picking the Houston Texans in the contest.
Kramer, let it ride.